Hello there and welcome to In the Craftroom with Debbie. I'm really excited about this session because it's all about book folding. If you've never seen book folding before or had a go, you are going to be amazed because you are going to be able to create this. So this is the session we have to do the word faith, and this is using my funky font. And then if you download the papers, you will also get these gorgeous papers which are hidden under here. There we go. You have got these lovely papers, you've got some toppers, and you've got backing papers that you can decorate your book afterwards. Now let's talk about what In the Craftroom is. Now In the Craftroom with Debbie, it started earlier this year. The whole idea behind it is that we will do them every month. And the idea is you can all craft together. You can download the papers. If you go to debbimoredesigns.com, you'll be able to download the sessions, and then you can watch live if you can at that time, and we can live chat any questions or queries that you have about book folding. However, if you miss it, don't worry, because you can watch it anytime. You can simply download it and do it in your own time. The beauty of In the Craftroom with Debbie, it's a virtual workshop that can be done in your own home. How exciting is that? And if you do get stuck, you can ask the tutor, and that's me. So whether you do it in the live chat or you can send me a message after the live chat, we will reply straight away. So for today's session, remember, it's all about book folding. And let me just tell you how I got involved in book folding. It was about 4 or 5 years ago. A friend of mine came in to my office and brought this amazing book, and she said, "Look what I've made." And I was like, oh my goodness, that looks amazing. I couldn't believe it. The detail that you see with book folding, you can see you've got different fonts, or even right down to all the different types. You've got images. There's so much out there. So she showed me this and she said it's so easy to do, and I was like, no way, I can't, there's no way I'll be able to do that in a million years. And the thing about it is easy, because once you showed me and I grasped it and we managed and showed me how it was done, I just fell in love with it. Now book folding, I brought out a range of book folding patterns about 4 years ago with the help of a lady called Deborah Street. We wanted something that was very quick to follow and very easy to follow, and this is how our book folding range developed, and I've never looked back. And everybody, you know, it is an amazing craft because the tools that you need, are you ready for this? A ruler, most people have a ruler, and a pencil, and I recommend a bone folder. The other tools that you'll need is for when it comes to decorating the book, whether you use adhesive, which can be double-sided tape, or it can be glue, sticky foam pads, or even inks and sprays, depending how you want to finish off your project. But the book folding technique that I'm going to show you today, as long as you can read the ruler, and you do need to have centimeters and millimeters, and that's very important. And I know for those of you out there, why they say to me, why not in inches? The reason being, in inches, the increments are a bit further apart. You need to have it a little bit more tighter and to give the right curve when it comes to certain words. But once you get the idea behind it, you will just fall in love with it. So for today's session, remember, it's all about book folding. If you've gone to my website, downloaded the pattern that I've given you for free, and also you've downloaded the papers, the next thing it would have told you to get a book. But I'm going to explain to you about the main key when it comes to working out your patterns. So you know when you get a book, okay, it doesn't matter where you get it, anywhere in the world, okay, you normally get a book like here, and you have one leaf, and then you have a page number there, and you have a page number there. Now the other thing to remember when it comes to book folding, when you do a book folding, you actually, if I get this book here, that you can see I've already book fold, you can see that there is a leaf, and that's actually, I've used a fold. So to actually fold a page, you actually use 2 pages. Can you see it's double-sided? Because you're using one leaf, which equals 2 pages for when it comes to book folding. Now the reason why I'm telling you that is because if we now look at the patterns, okay, so these are the patterns that you've downloaded. You will have, let's go to the top. So you have from F. So this is the first one, because remember, you are going to download the word faith. So when you have a look at this, it says fold at the top, and then first mark, second mark, which I'll explain in a second. But then you can look at fold 1, and then you go all the way to the bottom, it goes to 78. So that's telling you that to do the actual funky font uppercase F, you actually need to do 78 folds. But remember everybody, 78 folds means to work out the pages in the book, it's duplicated. So this is what I do when it comes to book folding. I get a page in the book, like so, right? Because I need to work out what size book I need to find. I write down the word I'm going to create. So this is faith, like so. And then I look at the pattern. So there's the F. So I need 78. And then I need the A, so that's 60. Can you see, everybody? Hopefully you're with me so far. Then I go to the I need 38. Then I have the T, it's 80. And last but not least, it's the 66 for the H. So that actually comes to 322 folds. This is a thing to remember. But to work out the size of the book that you need to remember to times it by 2. Okay, so if I times this by 2, it comes to 644. So this, everybody, is telling me that the size of the book that I need to find before I can start book folding is 644. So hopefully everybody's still with me and that makes sense. Okay, so here's my book. I have my book. Now the next question is to make sure you start in the center. This book happens to be more than those pages. So what I do then, I then put on here, I write this down all the time. So we have pattern, then I put extra, and then book pages. Okay, and then total. And what I mean by that is my pattern that I need is 644 pages. Then the book pages that I have in here, you don't count this blue one, okay? You don't count this one, but I do count this. So that's telling me there's 742 pages. So I put 742 pages in here. The next thing, I need to know if there's any extra pages. Most books, so for example, this one, this is page 3. So that's 2 and 1. So we have these pages that are extra. So I have, because I don't count the blue one, I have 5 leaves, which equate to 10 pages. Okay, so now all you do is take away the 644 from the 700, and now it'd be 52. So that will leave me 100 and, so if I just put 108. So this is 100 total that is left. So remember, these are the extra pages. If I just do this, pages, so you can see. So there were the extra pages. So they're my book pages. And I minus that amount from my pattern. So that is left with 108 pages. So then all you need to do is make sure you divide that by 2. Okay, and I always do this, divide by 2. To work out where I need to start. So obviously that is 54. So that is telling me I'm going to start 54 pages in, which is here. And because it's on the opposite side, you always need to start on the right. Okay? So once you know where you're going to start, then it's ready for the next step. So if anybody has any questions, just let me know at this stage. But the thing to remember is you want the word in the center. If I had actually started at the beginning of the book, what would have happened is I would have a gap like this on the end, and I don't want that. So you always need to work out where the center is once you've worked out the pattern. So we know where we're going to start. We have the pattern. So I need to get my pattern to start at F. And we're going to do this together. You then need your ruler and your pencil and a bone folder. So then when I always put a little circle where I'm going to start. Now with book folding, the top tip is you go to read your book, but then you rotate it so the spine is facing you. And you are going to start here. And whether you're left-handed or right-handed, the patterns have been designed from a left-handed point of view, which means your ruler always has to be on the left-hand side. And then all I'm going to do is I put my pattern so I can see it. And my first pattern says first, or I should say 1, it's got 4.1, so then I mark it as 4.1. And then the next one, this one's a point, it's 4.1 again, so that would mean that I just need to mark it once. And then I tick it and turn it over. I then go to my next one. So the next one says 4.1, so I mark 4.1. And the one after that says 5.6, and then I mark it. So can you see how easy this is to mark? You always from the left hand side. You always do it in the section of the border here. And it's better if you do marks that you can actually see. So I have a technique where I mark. So the next one is 4.2 and then 5.7. So you've got 7 there. And then you mark. And then I turn the page and then put my ruler down. Some of the top tips I always recommend that you do, as you mark him, okay, once you've marked it, then I either make it, I used to do ticks both of them, or you can just tick one, whatever's easiest for you. So we have 14.3 and then we have 15.2. Then I'm marking it and ticking it. The thing with book folding, you could easily get distracted, and this is a very therapeutic craft. You could be at home, you could be commuting anywhere, you can be on a flight. I've taken this on the flight and done my marking that way. Now what I would recommend you do is you would mark, so you can see I'm up to 5, that you would mark a whole line. I'm going to mark up to 10 and then I'm going to show you the next step. So as you can see, marking's quite straightforward because all I'm doing is putting 14.2 is my next one and then 15.1. I'm literally mark, tick, and then moving the piece of paper. You start to have your own system to make it easier, to make sure that you have got all the things ticked or the increments, whatever is easiest for you. Now don't forget that these patterns are a download for you. Now, some people tend to use, if they use it from the pattern books, they tend to use one of those rub out pens, but you can use pencils. You just figure out the best way for you. So this is 14.2 I'm up to, and then it's 15.1. So don't forget, if anybody has any questions or queries at this point, just let me know. And hopefully you are all still with me. So the next one is 4.4. There we go. And then 5.7. Now the beauty about in the craft room is you can pause it anytime, obviously unless it's live, but you can still pause it for a little bit during the time, I think, and just check where you're up to and just ask me any questions. So my last one on here, because I'm going to show you the next step, is 14.1 and 15. I think my voice is going. I'm just going to take a sip of water. And it is water, everybody. It's not gin and tonic. It's too early for that at the moment. So I've done 10. Now normally what I would do is I would actually mark a whole line, and we will be continuing in a second, but I just wanted to show you how easy book folding is. So we've done the marking. The next thing you're going to do is fold. Now this one, remember, this was a little odd one because it had 4.1 twice, which means you take your ruler and you fold up to that line like so. But then you take your ruler and turn it over to the right side and fold up to that line again. Now there's no way that is going to go there. So what you do is lift up, pinch, oops, make sure I pinch in the right bit like so, and bring down like that. Now if it goes over the spine, just lift up like so. And then I use my bone folder to just crease those lines. And that is going to create this point here. Now, when it comes to book folding, this part is the most important, not this part. So let me show you the next one. You always start on the left-hand side, line it up to the first mark like so, and fold. Then you move your ruler over to the right-hand side. And then, as I said to you before, there's no way that is going to go to there. So what you do is lift it up, pinch it at that point, bring it down. Now you may find that sometimes it will tear at the top. That is normal, but depending on how old your book is, but also how heavy-handed you are, because you are stronger than a piece of paper. That will come with time when you will realize that you don't have to pull it so far. Just remember and just be relaxed. You line up the first one like so, do the left-hand side, okay, and then move your ruler to the right. And as I keep saying, you literally lift it up, and then what you're going to do is pinch it to there, bring it down, and if it goes over this spine section, you lift up. Okay, and then you can use your bone folder to help that. By using the bone folder, it helps it crease. Now we're back to here. If it goes to there, if you can make it go up to the ruler, then do so. If not, do it as I showed you earlier. So this is quite a nice one because it goes up to the ruler on both sides. Then I tend to just finish off with my bone folder, so you can see how easy it is to fold. Now this, everybody, is book folding. There is nothing else to it. It's just repeating the folds in the different sections. And this is why thousands, and I mean thousands of people out there have got hooked on book folding. We've taught, from the youngest we've taught is 5, and I think the oldest I've taught is about 92. As long as you can read the ruler, this is one craft you're going to love. And then you fold that up to there, like so, and then move the other side over. And what I love about book folding is how therapeutic it is. You know, once you've marked it, I tend to do this while I'm watching TV. I might have this on a tray and might be just folding as I go, because literally it's repetitive. You're just lining it up to those lines, moving your ruler each time, and then literally make sure it's nice and crisp, because let me explain what you're doing. So yours should be slowly coming together. At the moment it doesn't look nothing, you can't see anything, but what you are doing, so here's one you can see, we're making these sections, and you slowly are going to create a word, and then all of a sudden you'll have the F, and then you'll have the A, and you'll start to get really excited because the word is suddenly coming to you. You have to have faith that you can do it. Did you see what I did there, everybody? Faith is the word that you're going to do. And, you know, for those of you that want to craft to get the whole family involved, this is something that you can have a go at. Remember, as long as you can read the ruler, you'll be totally fine. And if you have any questions, just let me know. Just either email or Facebook Live or anything like that. You can send me a message. And I'm literally going to line that up. There we go, and we're nearly done 10 of the folds. And yes, we have a lot to go, but you can get the idea of how it's done. So my plan is to just keep on going, like so, and going through all the different measurements for the word, for the letter F. So you can get the idea, and then as you get into a routine, if you have any questions or queries, just let me know. Now the other thing is, I am using the bone folder each time. You can do it each time, or, so for example, we're going to do the next 5. So I always put my pattern here next to my book, and then I take my ruler, line it up to the left hand side like so, and then I'm going to take my next few. So my next one for 11 is 4.5 and then 5.6, and then I turn it over, 6.2, as you can see the next one, and it's 12.2. And literally this is how quickly you can do it, because what I'm doing is get myself into a rhythm where I can see what I'm doing. So the next one is 13.9 and then it's 14.9. And you can get into like a quick rhythm to mark the book. I've got a friend that will mark the whole book and then fold. I couldn't do that. I need to see what's happening. So either, whoops, see, I've got distracted, everybody. Even I can do that. So I looked at 14 and wrote 14, but it should be 4.5. So it's 4.5 is the next one, and then 14.9, like so. So my friend does the whole book, where I think it's better if you do a line or part of it, so you can mark some and then you can see your results coming together very quickly. So the last one is 14.8. So go to 14.8, which is there. So I have done 15 marks. And then just to recap, so when it comes to book folding, you have 2 marks, and you put the ruler up to the first mark on the left hand side and then fold up to that point like so. Make sure it's nice and straight like that. Then you get your ruler over to the other side, and what you're going to do is take this end and go like so. And as it goes down, there's no way, as I said, that will go to that corner, or should say that side of the ruler. If it goes over the spine, you then lift up. It's this part of your book that is making the word appear. And you'll find that some of them are easier than the others. So this, by doing it this way, you can literally fold, and then if you wanted to, you can go back through your pages and use your bone folder. Whichever way is easier, it depends how quick you want to do your folding. I'm just showing you different techniques for you all to have a go at. So how's everybody doing? How are you doing? Do you have any questions or queries? Are you hooked? Have you come to any difficulties? Just let me know, and I'm here to answer any questions that you have. So that I have now folded. Oh no, there's one more. I've now done 15 of the folds. Now, like I said to you earlier, because I don't want to fold every single one, because it will take hours, I would like to show you how to actually cover the book. So once you've done all your pages, there we go. So you'll be able to see, if I do that, like that, you can see that this is starting to be the F. So that bit, if I then do that, next to it, you can see it's this bit of the F that's coming together. So once you've done your word, the next step is to decorate it. Now, any excess pages, like for example, this one here, I didn't have any excess pages because I managed to find a book that was exactly the same size, which is very hard to do, I will say. I tend to go into the craft shops, or I should say the charity shops, and I was looking at the books. This is a funny story, everybody. And the guy behind the counter came up to me and said, "Are you looking at the back of the books because you're reading the end of the storyline first?" And I didn't know what to say. In the end, I said, no, I'm actually looking for the number of pages to find out the total size of the book. But I thought it was so funny. He thought I was reading all these end of line stories before I'd actually buy the book. So when it comes to the book, like, look at this one. How gorgeous is that decorated? Books are all different sizes, everybody, and you can decorate it however you want. But you may have extra pages in them. So let's get one that has extra pages. This one, I think this one had extra pages. So yes, so I had some extra pages in this one. And you can see if I lay this down, we had some extra pages. So we just literally trim it out. That's all you need to do. And you can trim it out. So this one here, this is a different, this says holiday. This is a great idea. So it's keeping keepsakes on, but we're going to decorate the faith with the papers that you've downloaded. So how you decorate it, there's different ways you can do it. You can put a ribbon along here if you wanted to, or you can let it stand as it is. We're going to decorate the sheets. Now, obviously it's going to be a bit harder because of the angle. What I tend to do is I open it up like so and lay it flat. Make sure you don't crease what you've done, so you can get the measurements. And what I do, now you printed off everybody from A4. Now with the book folding, you have got these papers. So the idea behind it is you can put this lovely scent topper on, but then you've got these papers as well. Because it's a download, you can print them off as many times as you want. So you can see I've printed off quite a few here, and you can decorate it however you want. So my book has a lovely blue edging, which will pick out the blue butterfly. And what I've done is I'm going to trim it down like so. Now when it comes to the spine, I will decorate that last, but you can see that will fit in there, and I'm going to trim down the extra papers and put them in there. So just while I'm doing that, I'm just going to lay that flat again like so and trim down my papers. Now you've also got a ribbon strip and you've also got some toppers. Now all you need to do is cut them down. If you're printing them off on paper or card, just make sure that you print fit to page, so it'll print as big as it can go. And they're really fun. This is from our vintage range. Really fun toppers for you to use. So I want this main topper out, so I'm just going to trim it down and cut it out like so. And I want to take off this white edge, so I get rid of that white. And then I've got a lovely sentiment. Oh, I missed a little bit. Let's trim that down. Now when it comes to decorating the books, it's like having a card base or even a scrapbooking, so you can decorate it however you want. So you can have a lovely edging if you want to, you can put photos on. If you're doing the one I've done recently is of somebody's birthday, and put photos of him growing up at different ages. So you've got that option as well. Or you can go to your crafting sheets. So for example, I've got these two elements that I want to put on the front of my book. I've trimmed those down, and I'm going to trim the ribbon strip as well. But if you wanted to print this off 4 times, you can do that, remember. It's entirely up to you. So I've got my elements ready, and I'm just going to trim down another paper like so. Now when you are trimming or when you're printing off, you don't have to just print on copy paper. You can print off on different mediums. So have a go at printing off maybe on vellum, and you can print off on even thinner card that have a shimmer on. It's whatever you want your end result. So I'm just going to just cut this down. Whoops, there we go, that fell out there. And we're going to stick it all together. So now I have everything that I need. I'm going to decide, so let's move this so it's nice and flat like that, and we're going to cut it down. So I would like to put it right to the edge, so you can see that I'm going to have this up there. Then I want to have this ribbon strip. We're going to I'm just going to decorate one side so you get the idea. And then I've got this papers. So what I want to do is I want to just make a mark of where I want the paper for this. And this is the beauty about the decorating with the download paper. You can print as many as you want. Now remember, your book might be a little bit smaller and you might have a full coverage. And this is why we've given you 2 different options. So you've got the choice of printing it off more. So let me trim that down so it's exactly right. And this is how easy it is to decorate your book once you've done your word. So I'm just going to do one side to start off with. So we've got, the tricky thing is to make sure you don't damage the book. A lot of people say to me, why don't you decorate it before you start it? Well, to me this is easier to decorate after you've done the book. Because you could damage the work, or I should say you could damage the elements that you put on your book afterwards. So I'm just going to put that on there like so. I want a little bit of the blue showing because I like that. Like that. A bit more glue. And then I've trimmed down that little bit. Where did it go? It's hiding. There it is. And that's going to go like so. Just put the bit of glue on there, line that up, and you can make it as bespoke as you want. And then I'm going to put my ribbon strip along that. Now make sure I have it totally where I want it, so it's going to go there. So I'm just going to use my scissors and trim down, and then we will stick that on top like so, jiggle it in place so you can see how lovely that is. So it's coming together. So I've got one side of the book decorated, and I will the same on the other side. But then I have my topper. So what I want to do is I'm going to have it at an angle, and then I want to put this down here. And this is why I said you can treat it as a card or a scrapbook. I'm just using some sticky foam pads, and I'm going to put some foam pads on there, like so. And you can use tape, you can use silicone glue, whatever you tend to do to stick on your toppers. And then I'm just using my pricking tool to take, oops, not the whole thing off. I meant to just take the top off like that. Let's get them back on that. Take the top off, and then we're going to have that at an angle like so. And then this is just going to go, it says the butterfly counts not the moths but moments and has time enough. It's a lovely saying, that. And then I'm just going to put some more, I'm actually going to put this straight actually, I don't want to put foam pads on. And you can use your distress inks, you can add your different elements on there. So look how easy it was to do that. So then the next section I'm going to do exactly the same. So I'm just going to trim down that paper like I showed you earlier, like so. Have that on there, literally put my glue on. Now what I'm going to do different on this side, I am going to put this at the bottom, like so, wiggle it into place. This is why I use glue, so I can wiggle it. And then the top bit, I'm going to use my paper. So let's use this one here. Make sure I get the right size, like so. Line it up, and these are top tips when it comes to decorating your book. I'm just going to make a little mark that way. And then I'm just going to make sure I know where that mark is. There we go. Trim it down. I think I might have marked the wrong one. Is that right? That will go there. And I don't want to put a ribbon strip on, but if you wanted to use a ribbon strip, you can just print it off again. Stick that into place. And how you would decorate your spine, everybody. So you can see how lovely that looks. So there's your spine. So what you need to do is have it like so. And what I'm going to do is use, make sure I've got the right one. Where's it gone? So this is the paper that you printed. So you need to obviously put two lots. So what I'm doing is lining it up like so. Make a little mark. And then what I want to do is do it again, because I haven't got enough for the whole section. I mean, your book might be smaller. So when you're looking for your books, okay, don't be too worried if your book is bigger than mine or a little bit smaller. This is we're going to stick this in the center like so. That's going to go on that, like that. And then what we have, make sure I've got that right, in the center. My last bit, I'm just going to trim off this last section, which is, I'm just going to double check that is right, because you need to make sure they line up perfectly. So that's going to line up here, and you can decorate it with gems, you can decorate it with buttons, ribbon, photos, anything you want to. So I'm just going to trim that next section down like so, and then we're done. So obviously you need to go back, everybody, to do the word faith, and when you're done you can actually decorate your book to your heart's content in any theme that you want. But look how easy it was. So I'm going to put that on there like so, line it up, and there is my book. So I've decorated my book. I wanted the edging of the blue to stand out, and I could add some more adhesive to the back. But that makes such a lovely project, everybody. So if you have any questions, just let me know. Have a go, enjoy it, because you will get hooked and you'll never look back really. So have a go and happy crafting.